Welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Look, if you've glanced at your grocery receipt recently, or maybe stared in disbelief at the gas pump total and felt a real pinch, well, I promise you, you're not alone. Today, we're taking a deep, fascinating look at what we are calling the invisible wealth thief. We're basically going to map out your wallet's journey through the macroeconomic landscape. The goal here is to take these massive, sometimes intimidating financial concepts and bring them right down to your everyday life.
So let's start with a really relatable question. Have you ever stopped and wondered why your morning coffee just seems to get more expensive every single year? Imagine walking into your absolute favorite cafe. Just yesterday, a crisp $10 bill might have comfortably bought you 2 cups of coffee. But today, that exact same $10 bill only gets you 1, right? It's the exact same piece of paper, but it is doing a whole lot less work for you. That right there is the real-world pain of high prices hitting home.
Okay, let's dive into this, because you might be wondering how fast things can really change. Well, 66%. In the sources we analyzed, average gas prices jumped an incredible 66% in just a single year. We're talking about going from $2.82 to $4.68 a gallon. It perfectly shows how quickly and aggressively everyday costs can just spike out of nowhere, leaving all of us wondering where on earth our hard-earned money actually went.
So, what's the actual culprit here? It's inflation. Simply put, inflation is the rate of change in prices over time, which causes the purchasing power of your money to fall. To put it in really practical terms, it basically means your money is losing its muscle. Every dollar you hold today is literally going to buy you a little bit less tomorrow. It's not that your cup of coffee somehow magically changed or got better, it's that the value of the currency you use to buy it actually shrank.
Moving right along to Section 1, why are prices rising? Let's look at the actual causes of inflation.
Economists generally break down the causes of inflation into 3 main categories. It's kind of like a giant puzzle. First up, there's demand-pull inflation. Think of this as too much money chasing way too few goods. A prime example from our sources is the pandemic stimulus checks. Suddenly, millions of people had more cash to spend, but global supply chains were heavily constrained. So naturally, prices just went up. Next is cost-push inflation. This happens when the actual cost to produce things rises, like when raw materials or energy become way more expensive. An oil embargo is a classic historical example of this. And finally, we have built-in inflation. This one is fascinating because it's a psychological cycle. Workers expect prices to keep rising, so they demand higher wages. Businesses grant those wages, sure, but then they have to raise their prices to cover the new labor costs, which creates this continuous, self-reinforcing spiral.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how global events show up in the data almost immediately. This chart from the Dallas Fed shows headline versus core inflation reacting to the 2026 Iran war energy shock scenario. Headline inflation, that's the red line you see, includes volatile everyday things like food and energy. Due to the geopolitical conflict, fuel oil saw a massive 44% jump, pulling that headline number way up. Meanwhile, core inflation, which strips all those volatile items out, reacted much differently. It neutrally shows us exactly how an isolated shock, like a massive spike in energy costs from a global conflict, can ripple right through the broader economy and hit your wallet directly at the pump.
All right, let's pivot to Section 2, your paycheck versus inflation. Is your income actually keeping up?
To truly understand what's happening to your wealth, we have to look at a battle between 2 competing concepts: nominal wages versus real wages. Nominal wages are the literal dollars printed on your paycheck. It is the exact number you see when you check your direct deposit. But real wages, that represents what that money can actually buy out in the real world after adjusting for inflation. The tension here is immense, guys, because as we're about to see, a bigger number on your paycheck absolutely does not automatically equal greater wealth.
Just take a look at this data from USA Facts. It brilliantly illustrates that exact illusion. If we look at average weekly wage growth over a 20-year period, from March 2006 to March 2026, the nominal growth shows weekly wages increasing by $593. On paper, that looks absolutely amazing, right? But wait, when you adjust for the cumulative loss of purchasing power over that exact same period, the real wage growth is only $146. That massive nominal gain shrinks dramatically once inflation quietly takes its cut over the years.
Let's zoom in even closer to see how this affects a single year, because this will blow your mind.
Between March 2025 and March 2026, the average weekly wage went up by $49 in nominal terms. But when you factor in the 3.3% inflation rate during that specific time frame, the actual real wage growth, the true increase in your weekly purchasing power, was a mere $6 a week. Just $6. That is the shocking reality of inflation. You might feel like you just got a really solid raise, but the invisible wealth thief took almost all of it before you could even spend a dime.
Which brings us to Section 3, Borrowers Win, Savers Lose, the Great Inflation Divide. So if our wages are struggling to outpace prices, what happens to the money we already have stashed away in the bank? Here's where we find a really fascinating plot twist. Inflation isn't universally bad for absolutely everyone. It really just comes down to what side of the ledger you're on. Let's contrast the borrower's advantage with the saver's dilemma. If you are a homeowner locked into a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage at, say, 5%, inflation is actually working in your favor. Think about it. You are paying back that massive loan with future money that is intrinsically worth less than when you first borrowed it. The debt genuinely gets easier to service over time. On the exact flip side, we have the saver's dilemma. Imagine a pensioner with their life savings sitting in a bank account yielding just 1% interest. If inflation is running at 3.3%, that cash is quietly losing its purchasing power every single day. And worse, that loss compounds, meaning you're losing value on top of lost value year after year.
And just to vividly illustrate the absolute worst-case scenario for cash savers, let's look at an extreme historical example highlighted by the IMF. In 2008, the country of Zimbabwe experienced an estimated annual hyperinflation rate of 500 billion%. Let that sink in. 500 billion%. It is almost unfathomable. People literally had to carry wheelbarrows full of cash just to buy basic daily necessities like a loaf of bread. It's a very stark, extreme reminder of exactly what happens when cash savings completely lose their value.
So what can we do about it? Section 4, Investing to Protect Your Money.
Let's walk through this defensive playbook. It breaks down exactly how different asset classes react to inflation. First up, we have TIPS, or Treasury Inflation-Protected Securities. These are brilliant because the principal value automatically tracks the consumer price index, mathematically ensuring a real return regardless of what inflation does. Next, we see technology and AI equities. The sources note that these have been remarkably resilient lately. The fundamental idea here is that the massive productivity gains from AI can actually help companies offset those higher labor and energy costs we talked about earlier. And finally, physical precious metals, like gold. Historically, these are a very famous hedge against inflation, but the sources caution that they are highly speculative, and more importantly, they don't pay any dividends or interest while you hold them.
But hold on a second. Before you rush out to completely reallocate your entire portfolio, there is a critical caveat here. Historically, when inflation runs hot, the Federal Reserve raises interest rates to cool the economy down. And these rate hikes have a very well-documented habit of popping asset bubbles. Take a look at the data from Fidelity. Whether it was the 6% peak rate before the Great Depression, the 6.5% rate before the dot-com bubble burst, or the 5.25% rate preceding the housing bubble crash, when the Fed makes borrowing too expensive, asset prices often take a massive, sudden hit. So yes, you absolutely have to invest to beat inflation, but you have to be highly vigilant about interest rates while doing it. To bring this all together, I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful quote from the International Monetary Fund. They stated, "The erosion of real income is the single biggest cost of inflation." I think that perfectly encapsulates everything we've unpacked today. It's not just about abstract macroeconomic numbers on a screen. It is entirely about your daily standard of living. It's about whether your hard work actually translates into the life you want, and understanding inflation is absolutely critical to protecting that life. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with one final provocative question. Take a hard look at your own financial life right now. Where's your money sitting, and is it successfully outrunning the invisible wealth thief? Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. I really hope you feel empowered with the knowledge to take a fresh, informed look at your personal financial strategy. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I will see you next time.
Knowledge is one of the best investments you can make, and continuous learning keeps you sharp. Subscribe to @OTS Ullu on YouTube.